Namaste students, myself Sunil Kumar from the Department of Computer Science. Today we are going to the next session, is third session based on the chapter Introduction to C++. And remember, this is the first PVC concept. So already we discussed with the two sessions based on the Introduction to C++. So in that mainly we discussed the characteristics of C++ program. If we take the C++ program, what are different characteristics, and also we started with the C++ tokens. In that C++ tokens, we already discussed some topics. Already we discussed with some types of C++ tokens, what is identifiers. Identifier we finished. In that identifier, what we discussed, remember identifier is important. Identifier is a name given to the program element. Identifier means that is a name given to the program element. Whenever any program elements are there, for that particular program element, we are providing a name. That is known as identifiers. And when you are going to name the identifiers, there are some rules are there. Whenever you are going to name the identifier, there are some rules are available. You have to follow the particular rule for that one. That is, what is the different rules we can say? The first rule is, whenever if you are going to name the identifier, remember in that numbers are possible and also alphabets are possible and also one special character, that is underscore. These three is possible in case of naming the identifiers. So whenever if you are going to name, only these three values should be there, and it should not start with the number. It can start with the alphabet or it can start with the underscore, but it should not start with the numbers. And number can be present in that, and also underscore can be. Whenever if you are going to write, keyword should not be possible. Whenever if you are going to name an identifier, that should not be keywords. And also space should not allowed and should be in reasonable length, or some length will be given. For that in particular length, and name should be there. So these are the some rules to name the identifiers, and you have to follow these rules to when you are going to name the identifier. After that we discussed with the keywords. Keywords. Keyword means it's a reserved word in case of C++ program. Some reserved word will be there. That reserved words are known as keywords. Then after that keyword, there are different keywords are there. Only some I explained here. If, else, while, do while, switch, go to, like that different. So different keywords are available. And if we take any keyword, each keyword has its own meaning. Each keyword has its own meaning to the compiler. Whenever you are going to execute any program, at that time each keyword has its own meaning. So based on that meaning, the compiler will understand what is the statement it is and it is going to perform. So that is in case of keywords. After that we discussed with the constant. After that we started with the constant. What is a constant? Constant is the value that is never changing during the execution. Whenever if you are going to execute any program, at that time the value is given. Some value will be given for the particular variable or anything, or some value will be given. That value will never change. For example, you can take the pi value. If you went to any other country or any other place also, the value of pi will be same. That is a 3.14. That is never going to change. Like that in a program, we can fix some values as a constant. So that values are known as constants. So if you take the constant, there are different types of constants are available. One is an integer constant, and after that character constant is a floating point constant, and also the string constant. So these are the main four types of constants are available. String means you can multiple characters. String means it's a multiple character. Then after that we discuss with the character constant. Then other than that, one more is that is the floating point. Other than that, next one is a floating point constant, and one more is integer constant. If you take an integer constant, there are different types of integer constants are available. One is decimal, octal, hexadecimal, and also unsigned. So these are the different types of constants available. Normally, these are different types of constants available. One is integers, then after that, one more is floating point. After floating point, next is the character, and finally will be the strings. And remember, in case of floating point, it is also possible to represent the exponent values. In case of floating point constants. So these much topics we discussed in the previous section. If you have any doubt regarding this, you can see the previous session. Also, you can ask the doubt. So this is about the topic what we discussed in the previous session. And today's session we are mainly going to discuss about remaining tokens. Remaining token is one more is operators and also with the punctuators. Before going to the punctuator or operators, one special topic is that is known as escape sequences. What is the escape sequence? It is a special string used to control the output on the display screen. Whenever if you want to display something, if data you want to display, then we are mainly using the escape sequences. For example, we told all different types of symbols are that we are using for that one. When a single quote if you want to display, that is not possible to display directly. Whenever if you want to display double quote, that is not possible to display directly. Whenever if you want to display backslash, that also not possible to display directly. Whenever these type of terms, not only this, they only explain only 5 or 6, more than that is there. So whenever if you want to display the particular terms or particular word or particular symbol, you can say here, whenever if you want to display the particular symbols, then you have to use the escape sequences. So here, for example, if you want to display the single quote, here you can see is a single quote. If you want to display the single quote, along with the backslash, we have to use. Actually, backslash here is known as an escape sequence. By using the escape sequence backslash, you can display the single quote. If you want to display the single quote means you have to use backslash and single quote. Backslash and single quote. Why single quote is not displayed? Because whenever if you use a character constant, how you can assign the character constant? Character constant is assigned as char p is equal to single quote. In that single inside the single quote, we have to give the values. When your string constant is there means you have to give inside a double quote. So that single quote and double quote is not possible to display on the output screen. Mainly display screen is output screen. Output screen that is not possible to display. So whenever if you want to display such data or such values, then we are using the escape sequences. So here single quote. Single quote if you want to display means backslash single quote is required, and after that if you want to display the double quote, whenever if you want to display the double quote, backslash double quote, you have to use the backslash double quote. And if you want to display the question mark, then here backslash question mark is required. The next one is double slash. Why double slash? If you want to display the slash, backslash if you want to display, then you have to use a double slash. One is the escape sequence, second one is going to print. The next one is slash t. Next one is slash t. Slash t is give the horizontal space. If you want to give a particular space, horizontal tab space if you want to give. Whenever in the output screen, if you want to give the tab space is some space will be there. If you want to provide the particular tab space, then you also have to use slash t. Backslash t should be used. And if you want to display the data one after the next line, first data should be displayed in first line, next data should be displayed next line, like that. If you want to display the data line after one line. So whenever if you want to display the data like that, then we are using the slash n. N means it's a new line. Remember, this one is something I give like that. Many escape sequences are there. I'm not going to explain all the escape sequences here. If you want, you can refer the textbook. In that, different escape sequences are given. Based on that, you have to try it. See here, backslash single quote, backslash double quote to display single quote and double quote, and also backslash question mark. Then two backslash to display the backslash. Then next slash t for tab space. And also slash n, that is for new line. This is about the escape sequences. Then after that, next here is punctuators. Next type of C++ broker, that is punctuator. Already we finished with identifiers, keywords and constant. Next two is remaining. One is punctuator and last one is the C++ operators. The first one is punctuator. What is a punctuator? Punctuator means symbols. It's a symbol used in a program. It's a symbol used in a program, and that symbol has special meaning. It's a symbol used in a program language. That program language recognizes a particular symbol. A symbol recognized by the particular programming language, and this symbol has a special meaning. These symbols has a special meaning in a programming language. Means each symbol is not same. Each symbol has different meanings. That is actually known as punctuators. The first one is this operator. This symbol is a exclamatory mark. We can say is a not operator. Normally we are saying so as a not operator. Not operator. And remember, this is used along with the equal to. Use it along with the equal to represent the not. So not in mass, we are representing equal to. How we can represent not equal to? Not equal to represented like this in mass. Right. In mass, not equal to is represented like that. But in computer, that symbol is not there. You can check the keyboard. You can check the keyboard. In that whether not equal to is there, not equal to is not there. How we can represent the not equal to? Whenever if you want to represent not equal to is same. Not equal to is like this. Single flavor, then after that equal to. That is symbol is not equal to. So that for that purpose we are using this one, not equal to. And symbol used for not equal to. Then after that, this mark, this symbol. Actually, it's a modular symbol. Modular symbol is used to specify the format specifier, mainly used for format specifier. In case of C++ program, we are not using this one much. But in case of C programming, these format specifiers are very much important. Format specifiers are very much important. So it is to specify the format, whether this is a integers or character or a float. Normally in case of C programming, this modulus D. This is for integers. And modulus along with the F. That is for float values, floating point values. So this is a format specifier. This is actually known as format specifier that will specify the format of the data. If you take the data, it will specify which type it is, whether it is an integer or a floating point or a character. That is also possible. Character also possible. So like that, if you want to specify the different characters or if you want to specify the different format, then this format specifier is used. Format specifier is used. Second one. The next one is AND symbol. Important one. AND symbol. AND symbol is also a punctuator that is used to represent the address. If you want to represent the address of the particular data, if you want to display the data, you can display. But if you take any data, each data is stored in particular address. For example, if you type one song, for example, song is in a mobile, that is stored in particular location. That location has its own address. The location has its own address will be there. So when you are going to access the data, it is mainly access the address, not the data. First, you are going to particular address. In that address, data is accessed. So like that, if you take any data in a program, each data contains its own address. Each data contains its own address will be there. So if you want to fetch the address, if you want to know the address, if you want to represent the address, then we are using the AND symbol. AND symbol is mainly used to represent the address. The next one is semicolon. Remember, semicolon. So not a column, it's a semicolon. Statement terminator. It is used to represent the statement terminator. In case of C++, we have to write the statement. After writing the statement, we have to terminate. For example, if you are writing any statements. For example, if you want display statement, is it? I will write a display statement normally. We don't know because we are going to study later what is a display statement. So I will just write cout. Cout, that is one display statement. That is one display statement. We have to use brackets, angle brackets, double quote, I will write hello. After writing the statement, finally we have to use the semicolon. After writing the statement, finally we have to use the end with the semicolon. So this semicolon is actually known as statement terminators. Statement terminator means to end the statement. If you want to end the statement in case of C++, normally in some programs, not all the programs, in some programming language this is required. Statement terminators. If you use a Python, that statement terminator is not there. Or if you use some other language, VB and all, that also statement terminator is not there. But in case of C, C++, Java, or if you take the C hash and all, in that programming language, statement terminator is required. That is symbol is this one. The next one is open bracket and closing bracket. So remember, open bracket, closing square brackets is a flower bracket and normal bracket. What is this one? First one, square bracket. The square bracket that represents the subscript of the array. That will to define an array. If you want to define an array in a program. So array is one more concept. If you want to define the particular type of arrays, array means you have to enter the values in a sequence. It's possible to enter the values in a sequence. So whenever you want to store the value in a sequence, then we are using the arrays. So whenever array if you want to initialize or array if you want to define, not initialize, if you want to define a particular array, then we are using the square brackets. So it is mainly used for array subscript. For example, write int a of 10. This is actually known as square bracket. Then statement terminator. This is statement terminator. This one is square bracket. So that is mainly that is actually known as subscript, array subscript. Whenever if you want to use array subscript, then we are using the square brackets. The next one is angular bracket. This one is angular is a flower bracket. This one is flower bracket. The flower bracket is mainly used for which purpose? That is used for code starting and ending. Whenever if you write the 4 to 5 lines of coding together. So if you want to make that a particular block, one block if you want to make, or that is you can say one part. The next part like that, if you want to make a different part. So that's a block of code. that will be executed as a single statement. If a block of code is means, so it will execute starting from starting to ending, it will treat as a single statement to execute one by one. So in a sequence it will execute inside the block. So if you want to create the particular block statements, then we are using the open flower bracket and also the closing flower bracket. Open flower bracket is opening code block code, and also finally after that you have to close that one, that is the closing the code, that is code block or open bracket, open flower bracket and closing flower bracket. After that, next one, open bracket, closing bracket, that is known as parenthesis. Normally here it is known as parenthesis. So it is mainly used for function call. So function is one more topic in this C++ that we are going to discuss later. So whenever function is there, whenever if you want to implement the functions, then we are using open bracket and closing bracket. Means that is open parenthesis and closing parenthesis, and also to group the expressions. That we know already how to group the expressions. Whenever if you want to write any expressions, A plus B into C. This is for grouping expressions. A plus B into C. Into means multiplication symbol here. Multiplication cross mark is not there. So instead of that, you have to use star operation. So star. So this is operation. A plus B star C. So if you group, this is the first operation, next operation. So based on the precedence rule or priority rule, first bracket will be processed. So A plus B will first take place. After that, you multiply with the C. So if you have to group like this, then open bracket, open parenthesis, closing parenthesis is used, and also to perform the functions. We are using with the open bracket and the closing bracket. The next one is hash. Normally, in case of Instagram, we will use hashtag. So here, hashtag means that is used for preprocessor directive. If you want to process anything before executing, so like that purpose we are using the hashtag or hash, that is preprocessor directive. And also last one is backslash already I explained, that is for escape sequence. That already I explained what is escape sequence. So these are the different types of punctuators. Remember, here there are different types of punctuators. One is not, so you can say explanatory. That is not is mainly used along with the not equal to. Along with the equal to we are using. So to indicate not equal to. The next modulus are mainly used for format specifier. So either it is an integer or float, whatever its category or specifier. For that format specifier, it is the modulus. The next one is and symbol to fix the address or to represent the address. We are using the and symbol. Next, semicolon. Semicolon is statement terminator is used for terminate the statement. If you want to terminate the statement, then semicolon is used. Then open bracket, closing bracket, square bracket. It is mainly for array subscript. The next one is open flower bracket, closing flower bracket. That is starting and ending of block code. The next one is open bracket, closing parenthesis. This is actually known as normal bracket, that is parenthesis. That is mainly used for function call. If you want to implement the function in a program, we are using that one. And also with the group expressions. We have to group the expressions. Whenever expression is there, if you want to group that one, then we are using this symbol. The next one is hash, that is being used for preprocessor directive. And last one is backslash, that is used to represent the escape sequences. These are the different types of punctuators. These are the already we discussed with the different types of tokens. The first we finished with the identifiers, keywords, and after that constant. Next we finish with the punctuators. And last and important one token is that is C++ operators. Important one, that is C++ operator. Important means don't think that this is not required, but this is required. But more than that C++ operators are very important because in that different categories are there. In that there are different categories are available, and that is much more important compared to other ones. So next we will move to the C++ operator. So what is an operator? Anyone can say that what is an operator? An operator is a symbol that represents operation to the compiler. Is a symbol. Normally we will use a symbol. So punctuator as a symbol, and if you use this one also, this is one symbol. Simple symbols that is used to perform or that is used to represent the particular operations. That is used to represent the operation to the compiler. To the compiler, we have to say the particular operation should be done. So for that purpose, we are mainly using the operators. If you take the operators mainly are of three types. One is unary operator, binary operator, and ternary operator. Operators mainly are of three types. One is unary operator, binary operator, ternary operator. Unary operator means that is working with the one operand. Remember, unary operator is working with only one operand. Binary operator is working with two operands. Then ternary operator is working with three or more operands. Remember, operands are required here. Variables only you can say. So if you take by unary operator, that unary operator performs or operates with only one operand. Then if you take the binary operator, that binary operator will perform with, or if you want to perform the binary operation, then two operands are required. Two operands. We perform the operation based on the two operands. Last one is ternary operator. Ternary operator will take two or more. We can say three or more operands are required to perform the ternary operations. So these are the mainly three types of operators. So we are going to discuss one by one later. By here we reach the end of session today. In this session we mainly discussed about only three topics. One is escape sequence. After that we discussed the punctuators, and also we started with the C++ operators. Means all the tokens we finished. We started with all the tokens. Remember, already there are different 5 types of tokens are there. First token is identifiers. Second one is keyword. After that we discussed with the constant values. After that next one is the punctuators. Before moving to the punctuator, here one escape sequence is there. So that one I explained first. So what is the escape sequence? Escape sequence is a special string. It is a special string that is used to display the output, or that is used to control the output on the display screen. Whenever if you want to control the output on the display screen, then here is the escape sequences. Means some data is not, some strings are not going to display in the output screen. Some symbols are not displaying in C++ output screen. So if you want to display the particular strings or particular symbols, then we are making help of escape sequences. Here escape sequence is / single quote, then / double quote. So if you want to display the single quote on a screen, then we see / single quote. Whenever if you want to display the double quote, then / double quote. Then question mark is required. So whenever if you want to display a question mark, we have to use along with the /. The next one is double slash. Why is required means if you use the escape sequence, that is not going to display. So if you want to display the data, one more slash, then we are making use of /. And one more is /t. /t is there. So /t, why we are using means that is to provide the horizontal space. Horizontal space means you can tab space normally. Normally in case of C++ output, if you want to provide the tab space, if you want, then only we can use that one. If you want to provide the tab space, then we are using /t. And last one is /n. That is used for new line character. That's mainly known as new line character. If you want to display the data in new line, if you want to display the data in new line, then we are using the /n. So this is some example, some escape sequences. Not only this one, other than this one, many other escape sequences are there. That is not much more important. Then that's why I didn't explain. It is there in textbook. Whenever if I give worksheet, remember, read that one and write. See that one and write the examples. That is in case of escape sequence. And after that we discuss with the punctuators. There are different punctuators. Punctuator means a symbol. It's a special symbol used in a program. Remember that symbols is recognized by the computer or compiler. Normally if you take the C++ language can understand, or C++ language can recognize the particular punctuator. These are particular symbols. That symbols are known as punctuators. So first one is not. This is exclamatory mark, that is not. Main used here as not. Exclamatory mark is used as not along with the equal to. The next one is modulus. Modulus is used for format specifying. Then after that and is represent the address. The next semicolon, that is used for statement terminator. Next after that square bracket, that is array subscript. Then open bracket, closing square bracket, that is for block code. Whenever block code if you want to write, whenever multiple line of code if you want to write means then we are using the open flower bracket and also the closing flower bracket. Next, parenthesis, open bracket, closing bracket, that is mainly used for function call and also with the we can use along with the group the expression. Whenever if you want to group the expression, then we are using this one. Then hash is mainly used for preprocessor directive. Then slash backslash is mainly used for escape sequence that already explained here, this escape sequence. Then after that we will discuss with the C++ operators. So what is the operator? Remember, the operator is very important topic. In case of C++ operator, an operator is a symbol. Operator is also symbol that represents an operation. That represents an operation to the compiler. Means each operation has special meaning. Each operator has its own meaning. So whenever compiler encounters the particular operation, that will operate on particular data. So that's why we are using the C++ operators. So if you take operator mainly are of three types. Operators mainly are of three types. One is a unary operator, binary operator, and last one is a ternary operator. So what is a unary operators? Unary operator means that will perform operations on one operand. That is, unary operator will perform operation on one operand. If you take the binary operand, second one is binary operand. In case of binary operand, it will perform the operations on two operands. It will perform the operations on two operands are required, A plus B or C plus D. If you want to perform like that, then that is known as binary operator. And next one is ternary operator. Ternary operator will perform the operations on three or more operands. Three or more operands are required to perform the operation in case of ternary operator. So these are the different types of operator we discussed. So based on this one, I will give the worksheet, work out the worksheet. Any doubt is that you can ask later. So by here, I will wind up my today's session. Thank you.